Las Vegas Raiders fans, listen up. Big changes are coming, and if you're a real fan, you'll want to know every detail. The Raiders have added 11 new draft picks and signed 16 undrafted players. That means the roster now has 91 players. Yes, 91. It's a packed house, and the competition is about to get intense. We're going to break down the 2025 depth chart, position by position. Who's likely to start? Who's on the edge? And which new faces could become the next stars in silver and black? Before we dive into it, before listening to the latest news, subscribe to the channel, like it, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Let's move on to the new news. Let's start with the quarterback battle. The Raiders picked Cam Miller in the 6th round and signed Hodge Malik Williams as an undrafted rookie. But don't count out Aiden O'Connell. He's not giving up the starting spot without a fight. In fact, a trusted source says the team had a much higher grade on Cam Miller than most people expected. Higher than even Will Howard, who was still available. That means the Raiders really believe in Cam Miller. Now, moving to the running back room. The spotlight is on Ashton Jeanty, the explosive back from Boise State. He's turning heads already. Raheem Mostert joins him to form what could be a deadly duo. Watch out for Dylan Laub, too. He's got special team skills that might just earn him a spot on the final roster. Things are heating up fast in Vegas, and this is just the beginning. Let's face the truth. Last season, the Raiders had the worst rushing offense in the NFL. They averaged just 3.6 yards per carry, and when it came to rushing yards per game, they ranked dead last. But this season, things might be very different. The spotlight is on Ashton Jeanty, the new running back with sky-high expectations. Many fans and some insiders believe he could deliver up to 1,200 rushing yards this season. Some are even hoping for 1,500 total yards. That's a big ask, but if you spend a valuable draft pick on a running back, you're expecting serious results. Now, let's move to the wide receiver room. One of the biggest showdowns this offseason will be between Dante Thornton Jr. and Trey Tucker. Both are fast, both can stretch the field, but there's limited space on the roster. Meanwhile, Jacoby Myers and Jack Beck look locked in as the top two wideouts. They're not just reliable targets, they're also the best blockers in the group. But don't forget, the Raiders drafted 3 receivers: Thornton, Tommy Mellott, and one more. Mellott is especially interesting. He may play both wide receiver and some quarterback roles, but mainly he'll line up as a receiver. That's a lot of competition for Trey Tucker. Year 3 is often the breakout year for wide receivers, and this offseason could make or break his future in Vegas. He may still shine on special teams as a kick and punt returner, but if he wants more than that, he'll have to fight for it. Another name to watch? Kyle Phillips. He was one of the Raiders' first signings this offseason and has strong ties to the coaching staff. That kind of connection matters, and Phillips could quietly earn a roster spot because of it. Now, over to the tight ends. The Raiders have a powerful duo: Brock Bowers, the top guy, and Michael Mayer, who'll likely be number 2. Behind them, the battle gets tight. Ian Thomas may have the edge because of his blocking skills and red zone experience. But the rest, Shorter, Ishmael, and Renan, will have to fight for every snap, possibly landing on the practice squad. And for Michael Mayer, this is a huge season. If the Raiders run more 3 wide receiver sets, he might not get as many chances. That makes every snap count even more. There's something exciting happening with the Raiders' offense, and it starts with Brock Bowers. He's not just a tight end. He's so talented that some believe he might even line up as a wide receiver in certain plays. That shift could open the door for Michael Mayer to see more time on the field as well. If the Raiders decide to use more 12 personnel, that means 2 tight ends on the field at once. We could see both of them creating real mismatches for opposing defenses. But here's the deal for Mayer. It's time to shine or step aside. This season could be the turning point for him. Now let's move to the offensive line, where depth is finally becoming a strength. The likely starting 5: Colton Miller, Dylan Parham, Jackson Powers-Johnson, Alex Kappa, and DJ Glaze. That's a solid group, with some fresh talent from the draft too: Charles Grant and Caleb Rogers, both picked to bring power and protection. One of the biggest question marks is Alex Kappa. Last season, he struggled. In fact, he was statistically one of the weakest linemen who started multiple games in the league. So, why did the Raiders bring him in? The answer may lie in the connections. He has ties with the team's front office. They gave him a short-term deal, likely to see if he can prove himself. Meanwhile, Dylan Parham, a steady player who has experience at both guard positions, is entering the final year of his contract. He's already played under 3 different coaching staffs since being drafted in 2022. That's a lot of change, and now he needs to show that he belongs no matter who's in charge. The real battle on the line might be between Parham, Kappa, and Jordan Meredith. Who will start? Who will rotate in? That's something all of Raider Nation will be watching closely. Coming up next, we'll take a look at the projected starting offense for the 2025 season. The group we're likely to see most on the field. And let's just say, it's shaping up to be one of the most exciting lineups the Raiders have had in years. Let's talk about what the 2025 Las Vegas Raiders offense might look like if the season started today, and there's a lot to get excited about. At quarterback, it's Geno Smith running the show. In the backfield, it's Ashton Jeanty, the electric rookie who's already drawing major buzz. At tight end, you've got Brock Bowers, a mismatch nightmare for any defense. The receiving core is led by Jacoby Myers and Jack Beck, both physical and consistent targets. Rounding out the attack is Trey Tucker, who brings speed and potential for a breakout year. And if the Raiders want to stretch the field, keep an eye on Dante Thornton Jr., while Michael Mayer could slide into formations that call for 2 tight ends. The offensive line? That's still a battle in progress. Dylan Parham might slide in at right guard, while Jordan Meredith could hold the left guard spot. If this unit had to hit the field today, those are the 5 men most likely to protect the pocket. Now let's flip it over to the defensive side, where things get a bit more unpredictable, but just as intriguing. At edge rusher, Max Crosby remains the undeniable leader. He's the heartbeat of this defense. Malcolm Kuntz returns as a trusted contributor, and the question is, can Tyree Wilson finally break out? The Raiders have waited patiently, and now entering his 3rd year, Wilson must deliver. He's got all the tools, crazy length, athletic build, but now it's about results. One name that might not be around much longer? Charles Snowden. Off-the-field issues and limited production have put his roster spot in serious doubt. Don't be surprised if Jenner, an undrafted free agent, or David Agoha from the NFL International Pathway Program end up making more noise in training camp. Agoha, especially, is gaining attention behind the scenes. At defensive tackle, the team added some promising talent with rookies Tonka Hemingway and J.J. Pigeon. But the core remains Christian Wilkins and Adam Butler, 2 veterans who can dominate the trenches. Also in the mix is Lucky Fotu, a massive presence at 6 feet 5 inches and 335 pounds, signed to plug running lanes and eat up double teams. And don't forget about John Lalu entering his 2nd year. He's got ideal size at 6 feet 5 inches, and while he's still developing physically, coaches believe he can turn into a real force as he matures. Many young linemen need time to grow into their frames, and Lalu might just be on that path. Let's dive into the linebacker room, and this one is crowded, physical, and absolutely up for grabs. While Elandon Roberts looks locked in as a starter, the rest of the group is wide open. The Raiders brought in Devin White, who's bursting with talent but still has something to prove. Then there's Amory Gaynor, a young linebacker who's been quietly climbing the depth chart. Gaynor is showing that work ethic that reminds some coaches of Nicholas Morrow, a player who rose from the shadows and earned every snap. But it won't be easy for him. Tommy Eichenberg and Cody Lindenberg, both rookies, are hunting for that same opportunity. Eichenberg has the smarts and leadership to step up immediately, while Lindenberg is the kind of physical linebacker who could make an impact on special teams and maybe more. And don't forget about Amari Burney, another name fighting for a final linebacker spot. Honestly, outside of Roberts, everyone else is battling for that second starting role. The intensity in that room is going to be off the charts this summer. Now, let's talk defense as a whole, because after the draft, 3 areas still raise questions: linebacker, free safety, and nickel corner. At free safety, the Raiders haven't nailed down a clear starter. The depth chart is filled with names, but no one has locked down that center field role yet. And when it comes to nickel corner, there's some concern. Darnay Holmes is currently penciled in, but if he's the long-term answer, the Raiders may be playing a dangerous game. On the outside, though, the corners look solid. Jacorian Bennett is returning after a strong season and could make a major leap. Meanwhile, Eric Stokes, a former first-round pick with blazing speed, is going to push hard for that CB2 role. Also in the mix, Darius Bratton and Cameron Richardson, both physical, long, rangy players who match the mold of what Pete Carroll wants in a defensive back. Richardson, in particular, has all the traits to become a starter. He's raw, but in year 2, this is the time to show he belongs. The competition at corner is heating up, but that nickel slot? That's still a big question mark for Las Vegas heading into the 2025 season. Let's talk about a part of the Raiders' defense that still needs serious answers: the safety group. Jeremy Chinn brings physicality and experience, but he's more of a strong safety or hybrid linebacker than a true free safety. Then there's Isaiah Pola-Mao, a solid rotational piece, but is he ready to lock down the deep part of the field full-time? That's a huge question mark heading into the season. Right now, the Raiders' secondary includes a mix of players with potential, but little proven consistency. Trey Taylor, the award-winning safety out of Air Force, has upside but barely saw the field last year. Lonnie Johnson Jr. is a hard hitter, great on special teams, but doesn't project as a reliable starter. And Chris Smith, once seen as a hidden gem, hasn't shown enough to cement a role and could be on the bubble this offseason. If you're counting, that's a lot of uncertainty in a position meant to protect the back end of the field. The defense can't afford that, especially not in the AFC West. Now, let's look at special teams, because that's where the surprises could come. One name to keep your eye on: Tommy Mellott. He's a freak athlete with a 4.39 40 and the kind of speed and versatility coaches drool over. While listed as a receiver, Mellott has a quarterback's brain, a returner's burst, and a wide receiver's hands. Don't be shocked if he starts returning punts or kicks this fall. Tariq Mallister is another speedster who's still hanging around on the roster. He's electric when he gets space and could be a real asset in the return game if he earns his reps. Now, let's get to the defensive starting lineup, based on how things look today. The defensive front starts with Max Crosby, no question there. He'll be paired with Malcolm Kuntz, while Christian Wilkins and Adam Butler anchor the interior. Look for young guys like Tyree Wilson and some of the newly drafted defensive tackles to rotate in and bring fresh energy. At linebacker, it's likely going to be a Landon Roberts and Devin White, unless someone else steps up with a big camp. In the secondary, Jacorian Bennett and Eric Stokes are holding down the outside, while Darnay Holmes, for now, remains the top nickel option, though that position is still a glaring weak spot. At safety, it's Jeremy Chinn at strong, and for now, Isaiah Pola-Mao might take over at free, though that role still doesn't feel solidified. And here's the big question: which unit do you trust more right now? The offense or the defense? For the first time in a long time, offense might be winning that battle. The defense has heart and talent in some key spots, but unless linebacker, nickel corner, and free safety improve, this unit might still be chasing stability deep into the season.